is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Ernie, Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so, man, I feel like I've done this channel a disservice, and I feel like I say that more often than not, but I have not been talking about Justice League lately because there's just been so much going on comic-wise. Marvel and DC have both been kicking my ass on the regular with all the story arcs they got coming out, and everybody's just coming out with lit content, and you know what? I'm only one guy. Man. And I gotta edit the videos, I gotta research the videos, I gotta read the comics. Man, it's just too much. But I finally have a little extra time. So we're gonna be talking about Drowned Earth by writers Scott Snyder, Dan Abnett, and James Tynion IV, and artists Howard Porter, Francis Manipool, and Lan Medina. But before we get started, it only takes 2 clicks to become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers. Click. And just so that we're claro, so you know exactly what books I'm talking about, we're going to be talking about Justice League number 10, Aquaman number 41, and Justice League Aquaman Drowned Earth number 1. Titans number 28 is in there somewhere, but honestly, there's not really a whole lot in there I think really needs to be addressed at this moment, but maybe because I know this is only going to be part 1 of the video, if something comes up at a later moment when I do part 2, I'll probably go back and talk about it, but for the most part, not really much going on there. Now, to kind of address what's going on here, back in Justice League number 8, Cheetah and Black Manta had gone after Poseidon, who was in the disguise of a mortal. And in order to get everything that they want, they kill Poseidon, and with the source wall already broken and Poseidon gone, this opens the door for something far deadlier than the Justice League have ever faced to come knocking on Earth's door. Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and Firestorm take on the quest to try and hunt down whatever it is that Poseidon was trying to point them in the direction of that could possibly help them stop this oncoming threat. And this leads them to the Arctic Circle, where thanks to Poseidon's bottled ship, which happens to be the lost ship of Poseidon, they wind up finding the key to the graveyard of the gods. Unfortunately for them, when they find the key, a flood kraken appears from out of nowhere, a monstrous creature capable of controlling water itself and even being able to manipulate water into a deadly substance that can turn anyone into a strange sea creature, even characters as powerful as Firestorm. The only thing the Flood Kraken needs is to be able to touch them with its dark water. And Aquaman even falls prey to the creature, but instead of being transformed into a sea monster, the Flood Kraken opens its massive maw, which acts as a sort of portal similar to the Flurkins in the Marvel Universe, and sends Aquaman to the Blood Reef, where he's met by 3 sea gods from another dimension: Captain Gaul, Commander Drogue, and Fleet Admiral Tide. They reveal that they've come from the far end of the universe, having ferried other ocean races of the universe who had no place to go, and that they answered the beacon that was set off when Poseidon died and the key to the graveyard of the gods was uncovered. They reveal that long ago during the time of Arian that they once came to Earth to answer the call, when Arian wanted them to join with them and create a union of gods. And when Aquaman hears this, he gladly reaches out to them because he wants to create this union. He wants to have more allies on his side, especially those who could act as gods of the ocean for this Earth. Unfortunately, that's not what they're here for. They didn't come here to join any union. They've come to invade this Earth and reclaim it as their own. And no sooner than they reveal this, their invasion forces surround the Earth, thousands upon thousands of interstellar starships built for war, as Commander Drogue unleashes the Space Kraken, causing to unleash its poisonous waters down upon the Earth, effectively flooding the entire planet. The same strange water that transformed Firestorm begins transforming everyone on Earth, almost like some kind of weird zombie outbreak, only instead of being zombies, they turn into these monstrous sea creatures that are in a lot of ways similar to the Trench. Now, when we fast forward into Aquaman number 41, we find ourselves in Atlantis, which for those who haven't been keeping up with Aquaman, Atlantis has been above water since the events of Dark Knight's Metal, no longer sunken beneath the sea. But even the Atlanteans aren't immune to the flood effects, and it's up to Mera to protect its people. We learn that the only reason that Atlantis isn't flooded is because of Mera, who is using her hydrokinesis powers to single-handedly hold the water back from encroaching upon Atlantis and taking out its people. Despite the fact that the water has been finding its way into Atlantis' shores to affect some of the Atlanteans. Batman, one of the few heroes still left untainted by the flood, ends up getting in contact with Mera and convinces her that the fate of the world, not just Atlantis,
shit, not just the city, the world,
is at stake. Unfortunately, it's not soon enough, because before she can even make preparations to send her fleet out to help the Justice League hold back this flood invasion, an explosion sets off and momentarily distracts Mera, and Atlantis is lost. Floodwater comes pouring in, transforming every single person around her. The only thing saving Mera is an aquakinetic shield via her powers, and with Atlantis fallen to the drowning, her last hope to help her save the Earth is the one Atlantean left in Atlantis who hasn't been turned. The Condiment King. Actually, of course not, Condiment King's not Atlantean. It's the Ocean Master. Orm tells Mera the truth about the Triumvirate, that the legends were all true, and that the early Atlanteans knew about it, and they hid a weapon of mass destruction for the day that they came back, which is the Tear of Extinction, the same thing that allows Cheetah to be able to kill a god. The only problem is they don't know where it is, but they do have access to Arian's crown, an artifact that will lead them to it. The only problem is that Captain Gaul has other plans, using his Sea Horde to try to snatch Mera away. And depending on how you feel about Ocean Master at this point, either fortunately or unfortunately, he throws himself in the way and sacrifices himself to keep Mera from getting infected. Though he does get to throw a little shade at Aquaman in his final words. Meanwhile, in the Hall of Justice, Batman is trying to evacuate a Gotham that is already half submerged, and keep the totality from being affected in the Hall of Justice. Metropolis has been able to hold the flood back thanks to a seawall courtesy of Star Labs, but even Superman wasn't able to save everyone. But you best believe Lois is safe. Even Flash is faring okay, covering everything from LA to Beijing to Japan to London. But when Flash and Superman meet in the Atlantic Ocean, only to get washed by the Flood Kraken and Commander Drogue. Fortunately for Superman, Flash makes a save and stops Superman from becoming yet another flood victim. Now, at this particular point, we wind up learning why the Triumvirate, the three sea gods that came from beyond the stars, are doing what they're doing. You see, Poseidon had struck them down to the graveyard of the gods, and they came back to force Poseidon to watch this world drown as revenge, but because Poseidon is dead, Aquaman must take his place, and he must watch the world drown and fall to ruin around him as they reclaim the Earth and build a new world upon its remains for their lost society. And it's here that we learn that the reason why they were able to accomplish this is because Black Manta helped them. When Cheetah and Black Manta attacked Poseidon, Black Manta did mention that this was his opportunity, that killing Poseidon would set off the beacon and give him the opportunity he needed to get the power that would be required for him to take over Atlantis. And this is exactly what he had in mind, cutting a deal with these dark sea gods. If Black Manta delivers the Earth, they give him Aquaman's powers, his strength, his endurance, his agility, his stamina, and of course, his ability to telepathically control and command aquatic life. And when Black Manta takes the power, it's simply overwhelming to him, to the point that he even realizes that Aquaman may have more power than he even realizes. Even going as far as saying that all this power that you have, and you use it to talk to fish?
Nigga, please!
And down with things looking bleaker than ever, we do get one ray of hope. All this time, Wonder Woman was thought lost. When the Space Kraken attacked her and Aquaman and Firestorm, we thought she was gone. We thought she was lost with the drowned. But it turns out Diana is just way too stubborn to die. And we learn at the very end of Justice League Aquaman Drowned Earth #1 that she survived the flood and now must continue the search for Aquaman alone. And we're gonna go ahead and end it here because this book technically has 4 more issues left in it, and I didn't really touch on what happened in Titans #28 because honestly, it was tangential to the plot. Because really the only thing happening here is that the Titans are taking on the space fleet that the invaders have brought with them, and Tempest is showing out. Don't get me wrong, Tempest is throwing good hands. He is taking the fight to these guys, and of course, during the fight, Commander Drogue arrives, and he pretty much rinses the Titans, but that's really all that's happening here. But yeah, Drowned Earth is off to a really good start. I like the level of desperation this brings on. It's almost kind of like this story is really reminiscent of a zombie invasion, only instead of it being zombies, it's people being turned into monstrous sea creatures that are essentially the Trench, only they're not really the Trench. Not to mention we don't get very many Aquaman-centric stories like this, so it's a very nice change of pace from some of the things we have been seeing coming out of DC in regards to the types of threats that the Justice League have to face. And then when you see how this falls back on a lot of the stuff that's been happening in Justice League, that just makes it even better. But let me know what you think about the Drowned Earth story arc so far. Sound off in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, Hulk smash that like button. And if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, make sure you click subscribe so you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers and tap that bell so you know when I post up. And if you want to become one of Earth's mightiest patrons as well, swing on over by patreon.com/blerdwithoutfear. And if you chuck in a buck, you can get some exclusive content. And if you don't want to become one of Earth's mightiest patrons, that's fine too. Hey, all I ask is that you like this video and share it with your friends. And who knows, maybe they'll become some of Earth's mightiest subscribers too. Anyways, thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and while you're here, go ahead and check out some of these other videos I got floating around here. But until next time, Plus Ultra!